This is 17th December 2024 and it is our first class of igcse Pearson edexcel with you, and we are starting from the start of the course. In the start of the course we should start with base units, and let me check what do you know in physics and what do you do not know. The first topic is base units. What is base units? So before starting base unit, you should know what is a physical quantity in the study of physics. Sir, physical quantity is the quantity which we can measure. It is called physical quantity. For example, you can measure the length of this line, you can measure the mass of an object, you can measure the temperature of your room, you can measure the amount of current. So all those quantities which are measurable, these quantities are called physical quantities. And we have five basic physical quantities, and I want to ask you their basic units. So can you tell me what is the base unit of mass? It may be gram, kilogram, but what is the standard unit? The standard unit of mass is kilogram. Okay. In the same way, if I ask you what is the standard unit of temperature, because there are many units, Celsius, Fahrenheit, Kelvin, etc. But do you know what is the standard unit of temperature? No, no, Celsius, but Celsius is not a standard unit. Okay. The standard unit of temperature in physics, it is Kelvin. And if I ask you what is the standard unit of current, so the standard unit of current is ampere. In the same way, you can measure time, and you know time can be measured in minutes, in hours, in seconds, but the standard unit of time is second. And the last thing, length. You know length can be measured in meter, centimeter, kilometer, but its standard unit is meter. Its standard unit is meter. So you must memorize these five basic physical quantities. So I stated the first definition. What is a physical quantity? Sir, physical quantity is the quantity which we can measure. And there are five basic physical quantities, and I have stated their basic units. And now you should know some values of prefixes which are commonly used in physics. And let me explain what is the meaning of prefixes, because some student thinks that prefixes is a topic of English, but I am teaching you in physics. So what is prefixes? So let me explain. The explanation is, if I measure the length of a road that is 4000 meter, then this 4000 can be expressed as 4 exponent 3. Actually, this exponent 3 represents 3 number of zeros. And remember, this exponent 3 in physics, it is known as kilo. So 4000 meter in physics, it is expressed as 4 kilometer. And this kilo is known as a prefix in physics. In the same way, if you are measuring the size of a file in computer and its size is 4,000,000 bytes, so it can be expressed as exponent 6 because it contains three zeros. So it can be expressed as exponent 6. And this exponent 6 in physics, it is known as mega. Mega is a prefix and it can be written as 4 MB. It is the size of file. And this MB stands for 4 megabytes. In the same way, if I ask you, there are 9 zeros in a file size, then can you tell me what should be expressed for exponent 9? Think in your computer class, exponent 9. Exponent 9 means it is giga and it is 4 GB file, and 4 GB means 4 gigabytes. So I am making a table which I expect and hope you must memorize for the next class, because these are ABCDs of physics. Because without these values, you can't study physics. You will feel difficulties if you do not know the values of these prefixes. So the first prefix I stated, exponent 3 or 1000, it is kilo. Exponent 6, there are 6 zeros, then it is mega. And if there are 9 zeros, then it is giga. Okay, and these are known as large prefixes, and you must memorize three small prefixes as well. Now I am stating you few small prefixes. If you are writing 0.04 meter, then it can be expressed 4 exponent minus 2, and this exponent minus 2 is a prefix in physics, and the prefix is centi. So 4 exponent minus 2 means it is 4 centimeter. Okay. In the same way, if you are dealing with this number, that is 4 exponent minus 3, then this exponent minus 3 in physics, it is milli. So it is 4 millimeter. So centi means exponent minus 2, milli means exponent minus 3, and for your level I am stating it is the last one, exponent minus 6, and this exponent minus 6 is known as micro. And you know the spelling of milli and micro and mega all starting with M, so it makes confusion. So it is fixed. Mega is always expressed by capital M because it is a large prefix. Milli is a very small prefix, so it is expressed by a small letter m. But this micro is expressed by another new letter for u. It is u, but this u is expressed in this way, and actually it is read as mu. It is read as mu, but this mu stands for micro. So I hope you should memorize these small prefixes as well, which I will share you at the end of my class. This PDF I will share you. So you should focus on understanding. Do not write. Exponent minus 2 means it is centi. Exponent minus 3 means it is milli. And exponent minus 3 means it is micro. So it is the ABCD of physics, in which I have stated, I have taught you three things. Number one, what is a physical quantity? I am revising and then I will ask you. So try to memorize these definition. Okay. But I will ask you. The first one, what is a physical quantities? Are physical quantity those quantities which we can measure? We have five basic physical quantities: mass, temperature, current, time, and length. And you should memorize these three large prefixes, as well as you should memorize these three small prefixes. And now it is your turn. Define what is a physical quantity. Can you tell me what is a physical quantity? Temperature. And these five quantities are known as basic physical quantities. The whole physics is based on these five basic physical quantities. Okay, very good. And now we are starting your course now. I am starting your course now because it is the basic ABCD and now we are starting physics. So you are a student of Pearson at Excel and we start with motion and force. So I am starting with the topic of motion. Whenever we deal kinematics or motion, then we start with this example. Consider you are driving your car and it is your starting point and it is the path which you are following, and consider it is your destination. And this blue path, actually it is your original path of motion. And if I ask you to measure the length of this original path, then remember the length of original path, the length of original path which a body follows, it is called distance. So distance is a length of original path of a moving object. But if I ask you what is the shortest possible path, so you will draw a straight line, and the length of this straight line, which is the shortest path, which is the shortest path. Do you know what is this shortest path which is in a specific direction? Do you know the physical quantity which shows this length of shortest path? Do you know? I am asking. Yeah, in a definite direction or in one direction, then this physical quantity is known as displacement. Okay, so these are two terms which usually student mix. Distance is the length of original path. When you are driving your car, then the path which you are following, actually the length of this original path is the distance. But if I ask you what is the shortest possible path, and and already it is a virtual path because you cannot drive along a shortest possible path. This shortest path, the length of this shortest path, it is called displacement. And if a physical quantity has a definite direction, then such a physical quantity is known as a vector quantity. Such a physical quantity is known as a vector quantity. So displacement having a definite direction, displacement having one direction, so displacement is a vector quantity. But distance having no fixed direction, its direction is keep on changing. But do you know, if a physical quantity has no fixed direction, then what is named? Vector having direction. And if there is no direction, then it is known as scalar quantity. Then it is known as scalar quantity. And as I noted, you do not know the difference between scalar and vector, so I am writing their definition as well. Scalar are those physical quantities. Scalar are those physical quantities which have no direction or no fixed direction. Sometimes they have direction, but the direction is keep on changing. But if they have no direction or no fixed direction, then they are called scalar quantities, such as distance. In above example, distance is a scalar quantity. But those physical quantities which have definite direction, which have one direction, then these physical quantities are classified as vector quantity, and its example is displacement. Okay, beta? So distance is the length of original path as well as it is a scalar quantity. Displacement is the length of shortest path in a definite direction. So it is a vector quantity. And I hope you must memorize these definitions. Okay. Okay. And now I am giving you example which will further explain you the difference between distance and displacement. Consider a car is moving 60 kilometers in this direction from point A to point B, and then the car moves back, and now the car has reached to this point C, and from B to C it has covered 40 kilometers. Abra, can you tell me how much distance the car has covered and how much displacement the car has covered? How much distance the car has covered and how much displacement the car has covered? Huh, beta? And what about displacement? 40, but both answers are wrong. Distance is the length, total length, total length. You are starting your car from position A, you have covered 60 kilometer from A to B. You have covered 60 kilometer from A to B, and then you are further driving from B to C, that is 40 kilometer. So you have covered 100 kilometers. So this 100 kilometer you have covered. If you are in a taxi, then you will be charged for 100 kilometers because you have transported 100 kilometers, 60 kilometer forward, 40 kilometer backward. So your total distance is 100 kilometer. But if I ask you, sir, what is the displacement? But a displacement is the shortest possible path between the starting point and the final point. Between the starting point and the final point, yes. Actually, displacement is the length of this blue line. Okay, it is the displacement, and this displacement is 60 minus 40. It is 20 kilometers. This 20 kilometers is the displacement, and I think it clears you the concept and difference between distance and displacement. And now I am giving you another example, and you should answer me. Okay, consider you are driving a car 40 kilometers in this direction, then 50 kilometers in this direction. It is 40 kilometer, it is 30 kilometer. It is the starting point, consider it is the final point, and the this line, which is the imaginary path, it is not the real path, it is 50 kilometer. So the starting point is A, ending point is B, and I'm asking you how much distance and how much displacement you have covered. जी बेटा. हाँ. No, no, oh, okay, okay, okay. The car is moving from A to B 40 kilometer, then B to C 30 kilometer. Starting point is A and final destination is at C. G. Then what is distance? Yes, you are right. And what is the displacement? Displacement is the shortest possible path. It is the starting point, it is the final point. Then what about this length of red line? No, no, it is the shortest path because you can see it is 40 plus 30, the total length is 70. Total length is 70. And if you take shortcut, then from A to C, you will cover just only 50 kilometers to reach C. 50, yes, 50 kilometer will be the displacement. 50 kilometer will be the displacement. Okay. So distance is the length of original path and displacement is the length of shortest path. Okay. And I will give you more example on this topic, but I am starting the next definition. But in the next definition, I will use the same concept of distance and distance displacement as well. So I am giving you another definition. The next definition is speed and velocity. Speed and velocity. These two quantities show how fast an object is moving. Speed shows how fast you are driving. Velocity shows how fast you are driving. But what is the difference in physics? So I'm going to tell you. Speed is the distance covered by car in per unit time. What does it mean? Consider you are driving your car from position A and you have covered 40 kilometers during 1 hour. So the car number one, car number one has covered 40 kilometers during 1 hour. So 1 hour is the per unit time. And another car is moving along the same path, but it is moving very fast. The car number two has covered 100 kilometers during 1 hour. So both cars taking same time of interval, that is 1 hour. But the car number one is covering 40 kilometer and the car number two is covering 100 kilometer. So the car number one is slow and the car number two is fast. But how do we define? So the definition is the distance covered by a moving object in per unit time. The distance covered by a moving object in per unit time. Then distance per unit time, it is called speed. It is the definition of speed. And its formula is distance divided by time. But if I ask you define velocity. Velocity is defined as velocity is defined as displacement covered by a moving object in per unit time. It means when you divide distance by time, if you divide distance by time, then it is speed. And if you divide displacement by time, if you divide displacement by time, then it is called velocity. And again, distance, is a scalar quantity, so speed is also a scalar quantity. Scalar means no definite direction. And as we stated, displacement is a vector quantity, it has a definite direction. So velocity is also a vector quantity. So scalar means no direction and vector means definite direction. So we can differentiate now. Distance divided by time, it is speed, and displacement divided by time, it is velocity. And now I'm giving you an example in which we have to solve this question. Consider a car starting from point A and finally the car has reached from A to C. A is 40 kilometer or 40 meter. From B to C it is 30 meter. And now A to C, it is the shortest possible path and consider it is 55-meter long. So if I ask you from A to C, the car has taken a time of consider 30 seconds. So if I ask you what is the speed and if I ask you what is velocity, so the formula is, sir, we will divide with time and time will be same for both. Time will be same for both. But you should tell me how much distance the car has covered. How much distance the car has covered? 70, you are right. It is 40 plus 30. And how much displacement the car has covered? Yes. Okay. And if I use calculator to sum up the result, so this calculator is on your screen. And if I add these two numbers, 40 plus 30, it becomes 70. 70 divided by 30. So the speed is 2.33. Speed is 2.33 meter per second. And for velocity, if I calculate 55 divided by 30, so the answer is 1.83 and the unit is meter per second. So in this example, I think now you have understood the length of original path. Original path divided by time, it is speed, and shortest path, that is called displacement, and displacement divided by time, it is velocity. Okay. And now I think we should practice from your book. We should practice from your book. This is your book. And in your Pearson edexcel book, I think you should have its hard copy, I think. And it is the topic which we are dealing today. The topic is force and motion. Force and motion. Yes, it is the first unit, movement and motion. Okay. And they are starting with speed. This is the topic which we have covered, is speed. Okay. And I want to practice from this book some questions on it. So yes, we have these questions, and I should copy from book and on the writing page. Okay. Achha, but question number one is very very simple, in which you are given some distance. Consider a car is moving along a road. The distance the car has covered, it is 50 meter, and the time is measured by stopwatch, it is 3.9 second. And if you divide distance by time, the final answer is 12.8 meter. So I think it is very very simple, but I think we should practice this part of the book. I am taking its screenshot and then pasting on the blank page, and then we will do some practice on it. Okay. So it is copied and now it is pasted, and now we are working on it. Okay, but let's start the question number one. The question number one is convert, you can convert speed into meter in meter per second into speed in kilometer per hour. And I think this is a practice. What is the practice? Practice question is not given. I think it is explanation. I think it is explanation. Okay, okay, okay. Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Okay, 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 okay. Okay. ठीक है. Okay, beta. Thanks. And now we're starting the question. The question is a sprinter runs 100 meter. Okay. The sprinter runs 100 meter. 100 meter is the distance and time is 12.5 seconds. And now we have to calculate the speed. And speed, it is the solution of question number one. So speed equal to distance. Distance is 100 divided by time. Time is 12.5. So I think it is very simple and you can divide by calculator. Leave it. And now question number two. Question number two, a jet can travel at 350 meter per second. Okay. How far it will travel at this speed in 30 seconds? Okay, I'm explaining you. You are given speed and speed is usually denoted by V and the speed is 350 meter per second. It is question number two. Okay. It is the speed of jet can. And we have to calculate how far. How far means they are asking distance. And distance is denoted by S. And actually S means separation. So distance is a separation and separation is denoted by S. And most of the student mix with speed. It is not speed S. Actually in physics, S is the separation and separation is denoted by S, that is distance. How far? It means we have to calculate distance in a time interval of 30 seconds. We are given time of 30 seconds. And I think it is a mathematical part, so you should write now. Mathematical part you should write because mathematics you can't understand without writing. Okay, so I think you should write question number two in your notebook. We are given speed. Speed is denoted by V. How far? It means we have to calculate distance. We are given time. Time is 30 seconds. Okay, and what is the formula? So formula is speed equals to distance divided by time. And if we have to calculate distance, then make distance as a subject. So this time will be shifted on the other side. So S equals to V into T. S equals to V into T. V is the speed. Speed is 350 and the time is 30 seconds. Note down this calculation. And now I am using calculator. It is 350 into 30. So the distance is 10500. 10500. So it has covered 10500 meter distance during time interval of 30 seconds. And I should complete the question number one as well as 100 divided by 12.5. So it was 8 meter per second. It is the first part of question 2A. And now I'm solving 2B. And in 2B, only the time interval is changed. And now they are asking for 5 minutes. In physics, the standard unit of time is not minute. The standard unit of time is seconds. So it is 300 seconds. And now we are calculating distance, and distance formula is speed into time. So distance equals to speed into time. Sir, speed is 350 and time is 300 seconds. So if we take product of 350 with 300, so it is again 105,000. Okay, it is 2B. And now I'm solving the last part, that is half an hour. Abta, how many seconds do you know in 1 hour and how many seconds in half hour? Do you know? Yes. Sir, in 1 hour there are 60 minutes and each minute 60 seconds. So it is 3600 seconds in 1 hour. And if we are dealing half hour, then in half hour it will be halved. So it will be 1800. And again, the question is very simple. We have to calculate distance. Distance is the product of speed into time. The speed remain 350. The time is 1800. So if I multiply 350 with 1800, then the answer is 63122340. And if we use uh, if we use another key of this calculator, I want to teach you this key. I'm teaching you this key, the key of ENG. Do you know what is the function of ENG? Do you know? Yes. Actually, this ENG means engineering system. Engineering system. If you press any answer, if you press any answer with ENG, then actually it converts into exponent form. Okay. And the exponent form is 6.3 exponent 5. You are given different exponent form, and the standard form is decimal should be after first digit. Decimal should be after first digit. So it is 6.3 exponent 5. So you should know the key of ENG from calculator, and if you press ENG, then the final answer is converted into the exponent form. Okay, beta? So we are ending your class with revision of the whole lecture, and then we are ending our class. However, today we started your course. It is our first class of Pearson edexcel, and your course is for XPH1, and the first topic is force and motion. And before starting force and motion, you should know about the units. So I introduced you. We have 5 basic units, and we did not try the drive unit. In the next class, I will teach you what is the meaning of drive unit. But right now, I taught you only the base units. Okay. Then we started average speed, but directly we cannot jump on the on the average speed. I taught you some prefixes you must memorize, and it is our lecture. It is the start of our lecture. What is distance? The distance is the length of original path. It has no fixed direction, so it is a scalar quantity. Displacement, sir, it is the length of shortest path with a direction, so it is a vector quantity. Scalar, sir, having no direction. Vector having fixed direction. Then we practiced the distance, the difference between distance and displacement. And finally, I taught you a definition: speed, distance divided by time, and velocity is displacement per unit time. Okay. And now I am ending the recording.